Okay. Okay. So now we have already started with the network security and the SOC. Okay. So today we are going for next step. Okay. So I'll just quickly give you a walkthrough where can you all see the full screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here basically we are already we have done this part. So we know that in the cyber security starts with the network security first. So we need to know that how exactly our network is, and then we need to plan what are the weaknesses, what are the issues, or what are the attack surface are there which should be we should look after for the network security. Then there are some network terminologies in that we got to know that there are different types of attacks and other things. Even we are going to cover a few of them in detail also. So when the attacker is actually using different system, maybe different cloud-based or server-based or device-based things. So they are actually called as this. Yeah. So when attacker is using certain things like these kind of extra computers, then they are known as what actually the botnets. So botnets are nothing but the extra deployed servers or online servers or cloud servers or the laptops which particular person is commanding or controlling. So that is referred as botnet. And botnet can be having these kind of attacks. So there could be a Trojan horse attack, there could be phishing attack or brute force attack. So these attacks are actually related to how exactly the botnet is launching the attack for the network for the particular service like email or for particular system like brute force. So kind of things we saw here. Okay. So we got to know that if we want to provide the network security, then some control has to be implemented. And among that, the very first one has to be the firewall, because we need to filter out the unnecessary traffic or the packets which we are not requesting to our network. And if we are protecting our network by firewall, that is a good thing. But again, there could be the problems like a DDoS attack or denial of service attack. So sometimes they send the packets through various different IPs, and those IPs are not flagged ones. So that time, lot of packets may reach to our system, maybe online server, and because of that, there is sluggish response in the server, and many other things are happening. So let's say first thing is firewall. Second thing is if packets have arrived in the system somehow, and then we should have anomaly detection, and that anomaly detection could be the IDS system. So IDS is intrusion detection system. There are several nowadays we are having Wiz and Palo Alto's Prisma Cloud for cloud services, and there are a lot of tools which are available which are actually using certain analytics, and by using machine learning and nowadays using machine learning with lot of AI models and trying to guess whether these activities are anomalous or not, whether these activities are correct or wrong. So that could be there. And next is the that is the proactive approach, which is called as honeypots. Honeypot is like you try to lure the attacker to these computers, and the attacker will understand this is the normal LAN computer, and they try to launch the attack. And meanwhile, they get the malware attack, or maybe installed or reverse attack onto their system. So that is proactive approach actually. So we can have these kind of securities. So very first one was firewall. We talked about firewall will differentiate between good and bad traffic, and there are several rules. So deciding the rule is actually a very challenging task, and there are several other things to consider at the site time of setting the rule, whether you are allowing this particular packet stream or not. Maybe sometimes we allow from a particular range of IP. So only these IP address to that IP address, your packet should come. Other packet should not come. So that is the rule. Sometimes that rule masks the other rules. So that is called a shadow rule. So we have to think clearly about setting up the rules. I'll show you how exactly these rules are created. What are their that table I'll show. So this is like a overall bigger architecture where you can see you are having, and then the firewall and the routers, many other things are present in the system. So various DC centers and other things, internet, everything is there. And then this is one bigger architecture of any system or any organization. Let's talk about. So if you are having any firewall in place, then what will happen? The internet which is coming from DC WAN or internet, this will come over here. And then from here, it will come to, these are the switches that we are having, Nessus level switches, and they are connected with the firewall. So firewall perimeter will decide that what application should be there in the non-DMZ, so that no internet should go in there. So here internet is totally blocked. So here internet is not allowed, no internet. So at this instant, we should not allow anything. So here what we are having applications server, we are having database server, and we are having many other different servers as well. So, but those are should not be exposed to the internet. So that is the requirement. While in the things which are there in the DMZ, so see load balancing the things via four switches, and then we have certain servers. Okay, so now these servers are actually internet facing server, internet facing. So whenever we try to design anything, first we have to decide which servers are going to be internet facing and which are non-internet facing. The internet facing servers should be placed in DMZ, and non-internet facing should be placed into the non-DMZ server area. So this is the virtual separation which is done by the firewall between the from the firewall to the internet. After that, these DMZ non-DMZ will come in play. So that is the task of the firewall, and they will understand and separate it. And as per the rule, internet, if it is coming into DMZ, as per the rule, it will be allowed. But still, if you can see here, before this firewall, there is something called as LB. LB stands for load balancer. So nowadays we are having load balancer connected. Why? Because there could be lot of traffic coming in, and we need to separate them to their respective servers. So let's say there will be four different servers. So traffic will be routed to different servers equally or as per the policy we have decided. So that can at the time of peak hours or maybe maximum user traffic, we can avoid this. Okay. So that is possible. Okay. So having said this, firewall and other securities, we know that we need to decide the firewall rule. So firewall rule is like that you need to decide that from which source at which IP I should be receiving the internet. Or if I'm sending from my web server, what is the destination and what is the IP address? If I say IP address as any, then it means any IP address of from this word can come to my computer, or my computer can send, or my server can send any packet to any destination having any IP. So that should not be done actually. We can from out traffic, whatever is there, that is got egress. That is okay, that is allowed. But for incoming traffic, which is called ingress, So ingress traffic has to be restricted by proper IP address. We should not allow source to any like this. Okay. And then even after doing that, there are the services and port numbers. For every service in our computer, in our server, in our operating system, we have the port numbers. And every software is communicating with the internet via their port numbers. So we have to make sure on the respective port numbers is present there. Okay. And we should whether it is allowed to access the internet or not. Some ports may be a very highly secured port, some ports are vulnerable port. So we should not open any vulnerable port towards the internet. That is the first requirement. What are the port numbers? These are the few port numbers that is the must to have. Everybody should know what are these port numbers. If you don't know this port number, okay, so like if you want to design anything, it is very difficult to understand. So port numbers, that is command and control. Command and control. So these are the essential port numbers. First one is port number 20, which is called as FTP data. This is for FTP data transfer. FTP is for file transfer protocol. So here, see, we are doing what upload and downloads, but we are doing it through internet or email like that. Correct? But here we have to use FTP. So 90% of the higher rate communications are going through FTP only between the banks, between the bank to branch, or between many other services. Every time we are using this FTP. Okay, so file transfer is very important, another protocol than the HTTPS or HTTP alone. So we mostly browse the internet by HTTP, but apart from HTTP, we have the FTP, which could be internal, which could be external, which could be on internet. These are also possible. So Barclays is one of the pioneer company in this field of FTP, and they have been providing like FTP services from very long time. Okay. Then similarly, there are the 21 port, which is called as FTP control commands. So if I want to diagnose FTP, I want to do anything extra, we can use this port. Then there is SSH port, which is called as secure cell. So secure cell port is actually for the remote login purpose, remote administration purpose, and this is widely used. Okay. All the cloud-based services or Linux, PCs, servers, online, everything is actually connected via this. This is actually called as a kind of VPN, or you can understand this as like private channel or private line for your server. So when you do SSH, then see in the command line, you have to just enter SSH. And then after that, you can start sending your username and password for that server. So that will be delivered very securely. Okay. So this is the today's actual protocol which we are using for login purpose. Telnet is actually not secure, and we should not use this is actually again for the remote access of the server, but it is not secure because it is not encrypted. So this is not encrypted, that is why anyone can see your data if they have captured the packet. Then there is SMTP protocol, which is for email sending. Then we have 44445, which is actually called as directory service. Okay, so we have directory service like LDAP, or we have SMB. Okay, so that is for file sharing. These are the sensitive things. So again, we should use this particular port number 445 only. Okay. So there are several other few more are there. Okay, so we should keep a note of whatever are the ports and keep understanding these ports. Okay, so 135 to 137. Some ports are not that much like important to remember, but it depends upon the field you are working in, and accordingly you should be able to configure this port, use this port, and decide which port is suitable for which purpose. Okay, so there is, sorry, here drawings are okay. So that is related to how exactly we are having. So 123 is one of the port number through which the network time protocol runs. This is for synchronizing the clock over the network. So if you set your clock on a particular server, other computers will show the same timing, because that LAN computer timings are actually administered by the servers. Then for Oracle database, there is port 14031. Then for Oracle SQLnet, there is port 15421. Similarly, total there are from 0 to 65,536 number of ports are there. Okay. So from 0 to 1024, they are called as registered port. Registered port means they are recognized port, and no one should use those ports for any other purpose than whatever was the defined for that particular. So these are the things related to port numbers, port addresses. So always understand that without port address, we cannot reach to the particular software inside our operating system. So if it is for internet, then we are using different port number. So can anyone tell which port number is suitable for HTTP and which one is suitable for HTTPS? HTTPS is for with the SSL security. So which port number is there for HTTP? Anybody knows?
22.
80,
Hmm?
80.
For HTTP, this is for browsing of the internet. Okay. So when we have browsing of internet, we have port number 80 in place. But if you want to use your internet for secure login or maybe any file transfer or any purpose, we should always go for HTTPS, and that is called as port 443. So this is called a secured HTTPS with SSL security. So these are two ports that is used for internet access. Always remember that we should go for port number 443 always. So whenever you have any internet browser or any online streaming or anything, we are using TCP, UDP, whatever it is. But in the application layer, we have to use this HTTPS. And HTTPS is communicating through port 443 from your computer to server or maybe from server to your computer. So whatever internet is coming and going in from this port 443 through your browser, they are secured ones. They have the SSL security. Okay, so SSL security is the technology which is actually for encryption. So see, if you want to maintain data confidentiality and integrity, we have to make sure that whatever data I'm sending over the internet, they are secured. So that particular uh, concept is actually called as data in transit. Okay, so we have that as data in transit. So whatever we are having this thing, that is for data in transit. So it is our job to maintain data sovereignty or data encryption or security. So for that we have data at rest, that is for the encryption algorithm, and we have data at transit or in transit. So when we have data in transit, then we have to use TLS 1.2 or TLS 1.3 minimum nowadays. That is called as transport layer security, transport layer security. So if you are using any version lesser than this 1.1 or 1.08 something, then that is not secured, and a lot of vulnerability will be there, and maybe someone can attack at your system and can even spoof the packet, or maybe there can be a case of man in the middle attack. So all these things are possible if we are using this non-encrypted thing that is called as HTTP only. So that is why we have to always make sure that we are using HTTPS. So these are the port numbers that we should be aware of. So these are the port hierarchy which is there. So everybody should prepare at least 10 to 15 port numbers. Okay, we should be knowing 10 to 15 port numbers which are highly important or essential in regular communication. Similarly, there is a port number 3389 which is called as remote desktop protocol. So if we are using any desk or TeamViewer, taking somebody's desktop onto our desktop for remote access or some control mechanism, like IT people are using, IT guy in any company, they are using from their desk to control the employees desktop to for certain service purpose or maybe some troubleshooting. But meanwhile, if it is not encrypted, someone else can spoof in there. So that is why it is important to use the respective protocol which is defined for the purpose. Few more database ports are there depending upon the type of services we are using. These are the ports available. So the people who are actually working into the database, they have these different types of things. Now, whenever traffic is flowing and you have all the things related, so these kind of matrix is prepared actually. And these matrix will give you the information whether you are having anything related to firewall control access, non-firewall control access, or access through TBIC. So TBICO is another protocol, or you are giving no access. So why it is the no access? So let's say if your environment is this, it means you are into production for internet DMC. Internet DMC means it is for the local within your system, within your company. If you are using this, then production internet demilitarized zone is there. Then whether this requires firewall access or not, no, it does not require because it is intranet. Okay, but if you have any backend support or any other production, then it will need the internal firewall support. So this way, everything is produced, prepared. Okay, even production of internet DMZ. So for internet DMZ, again, uh, with from this production to production means within the same net, it is okay, that is allowed without any firewall access. But apart from this, any other communication has to go external application or subscription application has to go through internal firewall at least. So same way this chart is prepared. So there are like lot of ways with which we need to uh, do this. Okay. So that is called as the matrix to use the traffic, and every time we need to prepare. Like similarly here, as you can see, if you are using any tool or SCCM, then you need internal firewall to be in place for all the services which you are going to access actually. So this is one of the example how exactly in the industry, whenever anything is about to go launch, we have to check with respect to these metrics, production areas, that which is should be there with the firewall, which is not. And if it is there with the firewall, we should check which rule they are accessing it. And once we are sure about the rule access, then only we can go ahead with the um, utilization of it. So this is the process how exactly things are there. Every company is actually following their own method. So this is one of the format where you need to put everything in detail, and then you need to decide, you need to give this particular table with the justification. So let's say I'm trying to use these source IP addresses, and through this IP address, these are the source, this is the target area, these are the protocols which should be used, and after protocol, you must define which port number is going to be used. And then if any problem is there, you have to use the justification. If you are not using proper port number, and let's say you are using any rule, any means 0.0.0. So if IP is decided by this, it means any IP across the whole world can access this, or is the traffic from any of the IP address is allowed. And that should not be the case. Otherwise, there will be chances of network intrusion, attack, and many other possibilities. So that is why bigger organizations or companies, they are already deciding that from a particular range of IP address, mostly which of them are actually for their own organization, they will be only accessing this. So this time, if any attacker wants to attack anything, they have to be within the system to launch the attack, otherwise not. And then we have to harden our system perimeter so that no one should enter or should connect to our internal internet. So unless you share your Wi-Fi password or you give the Ethernet access and all this, without that nobody will be able to access this. Okay, and even after access there is a port number. So proper port number has to be utilized. So these are the various things that we need to do. Okay, like here we are having various interfaces. They are like from DMZ, 45 incoming rules are there. We know that. These are the IPs, these are the different respective numbers, from there we are using it. So what are the destination IP addresses, destination areas, and which services are actually there, whether it is allowed to use or not. So which permit is there. So all these parts we can write. So similarly, a table is prepared whenever we are talking about any firewall rules or this. Okay. So even there are some critical severity rule that is very important to take care of when we try to access any destination fire database, maybe firewall for all these purpose. So every firewall, if any issue is there, then we have to prepare in this tabular format that from any source to any destination, services like this interface with the DMZ and access is permitted and all these details is to be there. So that is one field report which will be there. Okay, if there is untrusted network, then we have to make sure that we are not allowing any particular source or any other source. So here, as you can see, particular source means /16 means any IP address from this range, /16 means 2 power 16. So that would be around, let's say, close to few thousands of IP. So only those IPs are those IP addresses, those range of IP addresses will be able to access this particular service. Other IP addresses will not be able to access the service. So these are the ways how do we restrict the traffic which is coming from firewall to internet, means to the DMZ area and the non-DMZ area. So that depends upon how exactly we are using it. Okay. So honeypot we already covered in the last time, and then we know that testing is to be done with the security part and all. So whenever you want to do testing, you have to go for the scanning of the vulnerabilities. So scanning means what? You have some proprietary softwares and tools. With that, you are trying to search your system, scan your system, or scan your server mostly, which is mostly present on any web server provider, or maybe on cloud, who are public cloud providers like AWS, Azure, GCP, so Oracle. So all those places, even your server is there, then also they can take care of the operating system or the system which is running there. But even if your server is on the cloud, then also you have something called as shared responsibility. So some part of security is handled by them, but some part of security is actually handled by the user. So if we have opted any server at that place, then few responsibilities are coming under user as well for the security perspective, and we should tighten those securities, then only we'll be able to use this testing proper without any issues. So for that purpose we have to do vulnerability scanning. So very first part of cyber security is you try to use any software like Nessus tool, like any other various softwares which are there for Qualys is there, and many other are there. We will discuss that also. So vulnerability scanning can be done through them. They will generate the report, and accordingly we need to remediate that. And then another type of testing is actually called as penetration testing. So penetration testing is actually related to what? Proactive approach. So deliberately it is proactive approach. So deliberately we are testing our own system, whether whether we are able to infiltrate system or get inside the system without any without any credential or without any authorized access. So it will check whether by any means your application or your server or your any of the software is vulnerable or not. So for that purpose, you need to you means a tester is only doing this. So there is three kind of testing actually available. One is called as black box testing. Black box testing means tester does not know what is there inside the application, means which type of protocol is used, what is the way of architecture, the how exactly that application was designed. Everything is not known. It is like I have given you one application from the Play Store and I asked you to try to enter into the system without login or fake login. So that is called as black box testing. Then there is gray box testing where application or some of the features of application are known. Okay. So yeah, actually I can see there is only 1 minute is left for the meeting. So actually today we have only this trial version. Tomorrow, next onwards, we are actually having the proprietary means a licensed version. So we can use that only. Okay. So you all please join with the second link which I'm going to post in the group and join that. Then only we'll be able to forward.
So you will provide the, what
Yeah.
we say, you will provide the
I
book
can give you the
material and
list
all.
of registered ports, okay, which
Uh-huh.
everybody should be knowing, which we are actually practicing in the industry. So those industry in the industry, there are few CNC ports which are in regular use. So I can share you the list of that. Okay. So I'll
Okay.
make the consolidated list and I'll share that also as a file in the PDF, which will have the port name and description about it and whether it is vulnerable means whether it is to be protected or not. So the three will be there. You all can practice from there. And at the time of quiz, when we run the quiz, you can means we can test out our knowledge for that. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, I'll just share. So we are talking about the different kind of testings that we can perform here. Okay. So we talked about that black box testing means at this time nobody knows about anything about the application. They just know that you are using this software and any person who is trying to exploit is actually using their own way to infiltrate or to exploit this particular application. So let's say I know some Android application, maybe iOS application, and I'm trying to if it is having users, so I'm trying to make one fake user ID and all trying to get registered, and through that I want to uh, exploit any service or anything like that. So let's say I have got the login. Let's say it has given me sign up option. I try to sign up, and after that I am trying to do some admin related things, whether it is possible or not. Sometime you join as normal user, and by some exploitation they get super user privileges, so that should not be happening. So for that purpose, everybody should be knowing that how exactly we should be using this. Okay. So lot of knowledge is required for black box testing. Next is the gray box testing. Gray box testing means here we know some more options because we know about the application that it is using, let's say, this particular postman service or this particular upload system, or sometime I know about this application that this application is specifically using MySQL database. So now I know that since it is using MySQL database, I can use some different databases, or maybe I can provide some wrong info that is called a SQL injection, SQL injection vulnerability type 1, type 2. So all these is, kind of things means I know little bit about the application and I'm trying to use that to get into the system to exploit this application just to understand whether it is hackable by any other party or not. So this thing is done in house as well for any software industry. So when they launch their app, they first do their uh, vulnerability scanning, then they do this pen testing for that. And next is the white box application. So white box application is actually uh, mainly towards the developer side and DevOps side, because that DevOps person is knowing everything about that application. Even they know how to change this application. So they have the complete knowledge, but still they are trying to test. Let's say everything is there. I can see how exactly account is getting created. Let's say if I change this field, if I give some prompt to this, whether by using this prompt I'm able to access the entire directory of the user list. Sometimes we try to find the user list and we get entire database of the user. So that is not correct. That means that software is misconfigured, or maybe it is not well architected or not properly designed. So that is why in software industry there are a lot of design methods are there and lot of requirement is there. So that is where this testing is required. So whenever we want to test any application, there are various tools. Okay, there are few open source uh, things are there. That is um, Tunu has been launched in the last week also, but there is one called as Acunetics. Okay, sorry, Acunetics. So this is one of the software which anyone can use to exploit certain application. And other than that, we have the very famous burp suit. So burp suit is one of the very famous software which is actually used for all kind of pen testing. So penetration testing, or in short we call them as pen testing. So this report is to be published for every software which is about to get launched. So companies are actually doing on their own end. Sometimes they take the help of third party through which they are doing the testing, like vendors, and then they get the report. If any vulnerability is there, if any pen testing exploit is available, they try to fix it, and then they relaunch that particular application in the market. Okay, so security testing is also one of the aspect which should be covered whenever we try to test any system. So security audit is required. So what is security audit? It is nothing but the and understanding how exactly organizations are securing their assets, and what are the rules, what are the possible exploit if it is there, then how to remediate that or how to mitigate that. See, whenever any attack is in progress, that time we have to take certain steps to avoid this attack. That those steps are actually called as mitigation. And after the attack has happened, we prepare a documentation, we prepare RCA. Okay, so these are the things. Okay, so whenever anything is there at attack, we do mitigation. Okay, mitigation means the steps by which we are able to avoid this attack. Let's say attack is in progress for certain server. So what can we do at the layman's level? What should be done as a part of mitigation? Can you all say any thing, any information? Let's say attack is happening on one of the server which is at the local database, means I can reach out to the server. So what should I do to stop the attack at immediate level at that point of time? So what should be done? So very first thing can be done is what? We should disconnect the server. We should bring the server down by ourselves. Okay. If we know that there are the data theft or anything is possible, we try to disconnect that server. So that is called as mitigation. But we cannot keep that disconnected state for long. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 hour we can bring down the server, or maximum up to few days. But after that we have to bring that server online. So again, if we bring it online, again attack can happen if we will not solve the problems which is related to that server. So that time first mitigation is done, and after that we try to identify and fix the problem. Identify and fix. And after this identification and fixing is actually called as remediation. So first we need to do some mitigation, then after that we will do the remediation. So after mitigation, we try to prepare a report. So with that report is actually called as RCA document. RCA stands for root cause analysis. So once we do root cause analysis, we come to know that what was the actual problem, because of that this happened. And after that, we try to remediate. We have identified the fix and we do remediation. And if everything is going well, all phases are completed, then we can go for this particular audit. So audit will again test the controls, and then this audit can performed by other things also. Okay. So a part of things we have already covered with the network security, and network security is always managed by these two teams. One is network operating center and another is security operating system center. So NOC is actually, they are active 24/7. They do their job in the shifts. Even in the SOC team also, they do their job in the shift as well. And sometimes they use the fixed shift also. So security operations center is actually related to understanding security operations, security things. Network operating system is actually monitoring which protocol is used, at what level, how much data delivery is there, whether server is up or down, if it is experiencing any loading issue, or if any particular services are consuming very high internet, so immediately notify those clients. All these activities are performed by network operating system, that is to maintain the efficiency of the network. But the SOC team is for the security operations. So security operations are actually working around the clock, and they have various things to control or to utilize. Okay, so for them, they are having some cyber security skills and they know how to analyze the system. There will be some softwares also which are proprietary licensed softwares, and after that, uh, there are SOC strategies which are there. Okay, there is one video also which is there on the internet actually for the SOC. Okay, I can paste that uh, link to you on the WhatsApp, so you can also see. Part of that screenshot I have already attached in the PPT. So we'll get to that also. So what are the SOC strategies comprises? So they are having these many phases. Okay. So whenever anything happens, what is to be done? How exactly done? What are the issues? And if there are multiple issues, how do we prioritize them? And then what are the continuous improvement? And then proactively we should do threat hunting. What is threat hunting? Threat hunting means deliberately we want to check our system against any issues. Then there is automation orchestration. Then there is training and skill development. And training skill development is essential because technology are actually changing with the, let's say, 6 to 8 months. Okay. And some new software, maybe new AI based system or any ML based system has is reaching to them, and then they have to adapt to that because they want to find the issues in very fast manner. Then only they can survive. Okay, so nowadays defense mechanism, even earlier only attacker had to advance. Nowadays attacker and the defender both need to be advanced. So attacker keep on using exploiting. They always go for the latest tool to launch the attack. So similarly, even on the defense side, blue team is there. So blue team should also do the same. So this is the overall fields of the SOC. That is how exactly SOC report SOC thing is working. So very first thing they are going for is actually they are going from this clockwise direction. So you can use this clockwise, and there are like multiple hierarchies are there. So everything can be used. Okay, these are the various things which are actually done by the SOC team. So very first thing is done is what? Log collection. They try to record each and every events, and after recording each and every events they give it to their software. What is that software is called? That is called a SIEM tool. SIEM tool. So SIEM tools are like, it is a field also, it is a technology also, and it is this tool also. So SIEM is one of the SIEM capable tools are there. They will collect all the logs that in last 10 days, how many user in your organizations did login from the organization premise, and did the login from their home, or did the login from the remote area. And then it will be studied, understood, and will be checked for any anomalies. So for the anomalies, first of all, we should know how exactly my organization is working. Let's say you have raised the flag that out from outside, let's say 100, out of 100%, let's say 40% people were active from outside the organization, and you raise the flag. But you are not knowing that at that time, the company has already given privileges to those employees to work from their home. So if that is the case, then definitely that percentage is going to go up. So that is how you should be knowing. First, you should know your actual working style, and then you compare with some machine learning algorithm, maybe some advanced AI model, and just then compare whether any anomaly is there or not. So very first thing is log collection. Then second thing what utilized is called as reporting. Then next is the what you is utilized is called as like research and development kind of thing. So new technology, new technique by which you should be able to discover faster. Then there is threat intelligence. So how does threat intelligence come in play? So threat intelligence is means you are knowing for them actually. See, every time we cannot just wait for attack to happen and then we do some mitigation. For threat intelligence, we have to anticipate these threat in advance. How do we anticipate? For that purpose, we have to take the help of certain standard websites which are managed by some regulatory authorities like CISA, like OWASP, like CERT US, all those places. Okay. So in one of the time, I have already shown you that OWASP 10 and other things. So these are the places. See, every time you have to find out what are the latest issues, what are the latest news, and which are the latest incident attackers. What is their IP addresses from there we are repeatedly using. So you need to block those IP address in your system. So all these things can be done if you have some threat intelligence. So in every organization, there is a team of security and they do the threat intelligence. They try to monitor all global news related to the cyber security, and then they understand that these are the practices in place. We should also do this kind of mitigation or remediation so that there should not be any issues. Proactively, they are taking the steps. So that is called as threat intelligence. Then there is KB. KB is called as knowledge base. So knowledge base is actually keep on expanding based on the past experience, what has happened in your organization, what steps you have taken, and then how exactly you are going to um, use this into your protecting the system. So they are having their own plan. Okay, so there is incident plan, and when their incident plan is raised, then there is a ticketing process. Ticketing process means anything goes um, misidentified or any issues there, always a ticket is raised and then that ticket is to be resolved. So particular respective team will be looped in and they will do their own job, and then that will be there. And next important thing is SIEM. So SIEM tool is actually very important. There are a lot of tools which are available. So all these tools are used for analysis of the threat. So that is again job of SOC. Then there is aggregation and the correlation. So this is actually nowadays is integrated to this SIEM tool as well. Okay, so it is integrated based on the various models and prototypes. So that is available. Okay, so whenever we how exactly SIEM is working, we try to do anything. So first of all, we need to have the data collection. Okay, so you record all the events, that's fine. So recording event is okay, but you need to also work on the contextual data. Contextual data means you do some scan, you take some informations, you know which are the laptops or which are the things used in my organization. Take the threat intelligence into consideration that worldwide what is happening, who what are the type of attacks happening, and combine all this with the SIEM, and then take the data normalization. Data normalization means what? Logic, rules, correlations. Why? Because you should know how exactly your company works. If you don't know your organization's structure or way of working, you will feel everything is very, very suspicious. So lot of time there are the false positives. So that should be avoided. For that purpose, we need to normalize the data, or we need to use proper aggregation tools or some logic, and after that only we'll get certain system outputs and we can generate the report for the analysis. So this is how alert is generated, how SIEM is used. SIEM is a technology, also it is a tool, and which can be used for various purpose. So what are the component of SIEM? So there are a lot of logs which are coming. How do you collect the logs? By using these four methods, or with these four areas. What are they? First, you do the data collections. Also, you record the events which are related to correlation. Okay, means if firewall is saying this has happened and router is saying this has not happened, then you need to decide whether it is relevant or non-relevant. So this is called as matching. Then there is database. So always you have databases bigger threat for they pose bigger exploitation threats. So always, and database is very essential. Even if you save your database somewhere online, we have to make sure that we encrypt and then save that database online. Otherwise, what will happen? There will be any single compromise and your data will be out. Okay, bare, it will be open bare. So that should not happen. So for that, database need to be encrypted. But there are the challenges related to it. Let's say if you have encrypted your database, but your database needs to get access every second, what will you do then? Every time, let's say encryption is taking almost half second, and then you are accessing for 1 second, again encrypting, again accessing. So it will add to latency in your database. It will add to the delay. And most of the time, we do not want delay. If you want to provide better customer experience, you have to avoid the delay. So that thing should be done. Okay, so for that purpose also we need to use this contacting. So database is one more thing. Then there is dashboard and reporting. That is how exactly these tools are working. They make a very beautiful dashboard, which within a single look you will be able to know the current status of your entire asset and the system. So people are using various data analytic tool there. Some are integrated, some are actually built for organization, like using Power BI, Tableau, and many other things. Then there is alert mechanism, threat intelligence integration. Automatically, you should be able to get all the IP addresses which are actually for compromising, actually going attack. So they should be blocked immediately. So that is threat intelligence. Alert mechanism also works in the similar way. And then there is UEBA, that is called as user and entity behavior analytics. Let's say your particular system is showing error and it is showing daily some error, but we ignore them. That should not happen. Let's say we find that in our organization, there are few users who are using their system, but they are not able to log in first three attempt. They are at least taking minimum four attempts to log in. So is it normal behavior or abnormal? So that analytics has to be there. So that is why user behavior and entity behavior analytic is very much essential. That is the next level of anticipation, that what can go wrong. Is it okay? So these are the different components of the SIEM tool which are available. So that is one of the management. As you can see, base machine IP, let's say 10 dot something dot something. We have the server name app server, another is the database server. Then we should know what is exact path through which I am able to reach to this particular area. So let's say this is Oracle TGP SAP data one. So SAP is actually used for HR and other purpose. So it is again going to that particular. So that app server, database server is there. There are these online tools also, that is called as Azure Sentinel. This is very famous. It is actually giving you different kind of alerts and incidents. See here, these many security events has happened, these many Azure matrices are used, and these are the different security base is there, means knowledge base is there. Okay, so based on all these things, it has analyzed something called as alerts, and at present there are no alerts. So if alert will be there, then uh, respective authorities should be notified immediately. Proper mitigation is to be taken care, and then you need to provide the permanent solution, and that is called as remediation. So all these three stages has to be followed for case of any issues, any incidents. Then there a plan is to be ready always, and a playbook is to be ready, and that should be there available with the organization. Similarly, as you can see, some logs are stored, how exactly logs are there and how the logs are documented, cataloged. So here one event is recorded that there is a failed SSH brute force attack happening. And here, as you can see, failed brute force attack were detected from the following IP. Now I know this IP address is trying to launch the brute force attack. And if I know that my system may be vulnerable to this kind of attack, we should immediately block this IP from our firewall so that user should not get access to my server or in my system. So that can be done. Getting? So these are the things related to Azure Sentinel, which is actually generating a kind of SIEM tool is there. Similarly, College is there. Similarly, there are different SIEM tools like College, and then there is Wazoo, then there are Palo Alto, various others. Okay. And after that, report is made. See, the report is having that how exactly which two alerts are there, what is their I mean type, then what is their status and what is the severity level. So severity level is actually coming into three part. Okay, they are called as low, medium, and high. Low, medium, and high. So if it is low, it may be considered as a warning. If it is medium, you get like almost 3 to 4 weeks of time. And if you are having severity level, let's say very, very high, okay, then you need to take immediate action. Means within hour, you have to within the day you have to provide this solution, otherwise you have to bring down your server, otherwise you have to sign the risk acceptance form, that is called as RAF or RAR. So these are the practices which are followed at the industry level. These are the dashboards which are available from the SIEM tool. So SIEM tool will categorize all the activity, will give you proper updates that whether these many mails are checked, these many packets are chased, these are the regular behavior, these are the events which are recorded, so many things. And ticketing example is like this. So let's say ticket number is there, then ticket detail will be there, that these the things are happening, and then what is the severity level. Accordingly, it will be assigned to respective team. There are certain links which are very um, good links that we can watch and we can understand that. Okay, so I'll just uh, give you these links as well. So you can go through these links. So finally, we know that incident response remediations, all things are possible. Okay. And SIEM is responsible for giving proper understanding these different kind of issues. And then they generate the threat report. And accordingly, we can go ahead. So if we are using SIEM tool, what are the like benefits? What are the things? First part is that we have the proper security watch. SIEM tools are actually reducing the risk, and it is providing up to date threat intelligence, and it can remove the phishing sites as well. It can turn off particular services which are vulnerable, and it will reduce the fraud loss as well. So all these details, all these are the benefits of using the SIEM tool. Okay. So whenever we try to notify certain people after any incident, then what is the organization level? Okay. So how to report? So so there is how to report or who to report. Okay. I guess there is. So who to report? So at organization level, at higher level, there is like a CISO or CSO, that is Chief Security Officer or Chief Information Security Officer, then RSO, then regional officer, then there is a site lead, SOC manager, security force, cyber security operators, analyst, CC leads. So these are the various hierarchies which are available. They are able to work independently and they can collaborate together and they can always try to um, redirect the things to respective stakeholder. So here are the like salary discussions, what are the different roles are there, and who are the things, what is their job role. So as you can see, one can have the security auditor, then can become the security analyst, pen testers, or can become security manager. Then there are the security lead, so very important positions, practice lead, project lead, delivery lead, team lead, all these are the security leaders. Then we have the security testers. So they can test physical security, logical security, network security, or any software related security as well. So these are the things that what to be done by whom and what exactly information will be provided by whom. So let's see a comparison if we have the security auditor versus pen tester. So security pen tester is actually testing out each of the system very, very clearly, trying to do all the exploits, trying to get what are the issues related to it, while auditor is checking for different controls, whether as a best practice this should be present, is it there or not, it will prepare then auditor will prepare the report and release the report to the organization. Okay, so these are the things related to SOC. So we have completed that, and now we are into physical security. So it is obvious that network security, other securities are very much essential, but apart from that, physical security is also necessary, because without this is the first phase of the security. Always it is activated by default. So any society, any organization, or any home, everyone is having this physical security. Physical security is very essential. We know that there are regular thefts, burglaries, there are regular issues. If proper physical security is not at the place. If you talk about banks, if you talk about financial institutions, they pay equally and very high, they are deep focused onto the physical security as well, because physical security is something you should not let go, because they are more vulnerable than the cyber attacks and other security. So physical security is also a part of cyber security, which has several elements of physical security. First thing is like, how do you access your organization premise or assets? They are called as access control. Like we are using biometrics, we are using card reader to get in and out. Then there is perimeter security. So for every organization, every society or everywhere, perimeter organization is also coming in place. Like how do you provide the fencing? Are you using any surveillance camera so that you can have some sort of understanding after the incident? You can go for root cause analysis. It will help you there. Again, for this surveillance camera, one can say even nowadays we have the cameras which are actually generating the immediately when the moment has happened. So even we nobody is near to the organization, but still they can detect the intruders, they can notify the intruder, and then companies or organizations may take the proper actions for the same. Similarly, these things are also punishable act as well. So in the court, these are not allowed actually. Then there is environmental controls like temperature, humidity. Again, you have to take care of this also. If you have server in place, if you have your system, you have to make sure temperature, humidity, everything is in control, the environment you are operating in. Then similarly, fire suppression system. If there is fire by any means, then how will you control it? How will you suppress it? That system has to be there in place. Again, it is a part of audit as well. Many times they fail the audit based on very small physical security control which is not in place. Similarly, there is security personnel. So this is again taking the help of the people and assigning the guard and their duty, their roles, and accordingly you follow their protocol and procedures. Okay, so these are the things related to physical security. We are going to discuss that in detail in the tomorrow session. So is it possible to keep a session on tomorrow, Pallab? Okay, I'll try to arrange, and I'll post that message in advance today itself, and so that you all will know. Okay, so I'm stopping the session now. Okay, see you tomorrow.